Unceded territories of Mount First Nations. Call the meeting to order. Introduction of late items. Administrator Roy, do you have any late items for our agenda, sir?
I do not.
Council members, do you have any late items for the agenda? None. I have one late item for the agenda under new business. It's a motion. I'll be presenting it during new business, but I'll read it out. It's that the off-season days and hours of operation for the Amphitic Aquatic and Sports Center be expanded to Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon for all the sports side facilities and pool side shower and washrooms, excluding all statutory holidays. That'll be the motion that I'll be introducing during new business. Great. Late items. Approval of the agenda. Move that the agenda be adopted. Just do it as revised. Care to move it? Councilor Waymire, second, Councilor Pickard. Any discussion? Nothing? Okay. Call for the question. All in favor? Carried. Adoption minutes at the regular meeting minutes for May the 4th, 2026 be adopted as presented. Who care to move it? Councilor Pickard, second by Councilor Fawcett. Any discussion? None? Other than comment from the mayor, thank council and my deputy mayor for doing such a great job in the last meeting. Outstanding. Watched the video a few times and thought, oh, wish I could be that good. Our discussion, call for the question, all in favor? Then public and statutory hearing, seeing none, moving on. Unfinished business, seeing none, moving on. Delegations. Wonderful. Again, these chambers are privileged to have the presence of our detachment commander for Nooka Sound, Greg Young, who is going to give us an update on policing in our region and in Gold River. Thank you, sir. Welcome and thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
It's always our pleasure, sir.
Yeah, I'll just start off with a little bit of a recap of our current file work and our workload, just so you have an idea of things that are happening in the community and throughout the Nooka Sound area. And I thought I'd just start with January 1st to present, just to give you an idea of what's been happening. So far this year, we've had 341 investigations, which is very comparable to last year. This time we had 322, and about 70% of that is in Gold River. So most of our work is no surprise. The big population is here, and our detachments here is where we head out every day. So most of the work is generated here in Gold River. The types of files that we get in policing are pretty much anything you'd expect. Anytime people need help for assistance, we're often one of their first calls. So oftentimes we're just, it's general calls for assistance. Could be neighbor disputes. It could be an animal call, and it can get, more serious from there. We deal with a lot of people offenses, such as assaults, people just not getting along, that kind of thing. And recently we've also seen an uptick in property offenses. So there's been some copper thefts, some fuel thefts as of late. So that's something we're keeping a close eye on. We're also in touch with our Campbell River partners with respect to the copper thefts. So just kind of coming up with a plan to address these things and hopefully deter them from happening further. Some of the other trends that we're seeing are mental health. We've been busy with mental health calls in the last few months. Our partners at the clinic have been really great to help us through that. And also alcohol, as always, it fuels police responses. But luckily, we've had no major police events this year. In terms of criminal charges, so the most serious things that we are looking at, year to date, we've had 6 criminal code charges in Gold River. 3 of those have been assaults. 1 has been an aggravated assault, which is a more serious bodily harm type offense. 1 uttering threats, and 2 people have been charged with possession of property obtained by crime. This is also comparable to our same time period last year, when up until now we had 5 criminal charges. So of the 6, we've had 6 criminal charges here this year so far, 8 total in the Nooka Sound area. So quite representative. Most of our work is here, and some of the more serious work is here as well. But it is Gold River, and it's not as serious as you'd find in larger communities throughout the island. Also, one of our major things that we're keeping an eye on with our road safety initiative is impaired driving. So far this year, we've had 2 impaired driving charges, which is not a lot, but we see that as, again, as a success. One of those has been by drug and one of those has been by alcohol. One thing we've started really focusing on probably in the past 6 or 8 months is, trying to discourage people from being intoxicated in public. We really think that it's, by dissuading the public drunkenness, we can, mitigate a lot of these small offenses. So we've been handing out liquor tickets as much as we can, just an extra layer of, I don't know what the word is, but to try to stop this.
Mhm.
Traffic checks have been a real significant increase for us. I think I've mentioned to you guys that, over the past year, and our last priority plan was, to up our road safety initiative. So far this year, we've had 99 traffic checks, which in this community is a lot. And we've handed out 23 tickets. So again, it's a focus on education, but when we compare that to last year, we're at a 50% increase in checks and a threefold increase in ticket issuance. So it's been really good. This time of year, April 1st, we always reevaluate our initiatives. I believe I've spoken to you about our annual performance plan in previous years. And I'm just quite happy with the way our plan worked out last year. We set some ambitious goals, and I think we met them all. We don't want to, rewrite or sorry, I'm not sure what the word is, but things are going very well. So we figured we'd carry over the same initiatives into our new year. So I just thought I would bring those up and let you know what those initiatives are. The first thing that's always the top of the priority list for me is employee excellence and workplace culture.
Good.
So before our members can hit the road and keep the community safe, I need to make sure my members are happy, they're safe, they're well-trained and motivated. So we're making sure we get training opportunities, time off, and just trying to create a, happy work environment where people are supported and their families are supported so we can do a good job for Gold River.
Great.
Next is enhanced public safety. It's kind of a broad term, but just kind of means that we're trying to conduct the highest quality investigations that we can and providing those disclosure packages to Crown Council in support of prosecution. So we've done a really good job. Well, I'm bragging a little bit, but we've got nearly 100% success rate in recommending charge assessment to Crown and being successful with charge approval. So I'm quite happy about that. Also, which falls into enhanced public safety, is police presence. And this is something that I brought up about our needs to spend time in the other communities. So, and as an example, I don't know if I've given this stat before, but we spent 154 patrol days in Tassus last year. So something I was quite happy with. And beyond that, just being responsive to the community needs. Reconciliation always is an important thing for us. Just trying to strengthen relationships and build trust with the First Nation. And on that note, we were very happy to be and honored to be to take part in the totem pole ceremony last week. We were grateful to the village for allowing us to use your chairs, tables, and your podium, and for your presence. So thank you for that.
Our pleasure.
Yeah. I've already touched on road safety, but it's going to remain a priority for us. And as well as accountability in government. So just making sure we have open lines of communication between our detachment leadership and village leadership. So we want to be transparent and open with you guys, and we want to be accessible if we need to be. So on that note, Mayor, I will be sending you a consultation document.
Thank you.
Just to say that we've chatted about these things and the priorities that have been identified by the community, by the detachment. We agree on a strategy for our detachment.
Excellent.
In terms of staffing, our member complement remains the same. There's no update or no changes expected until next year. So I'm quite happy. We've got a great team here, and we'll have a great team going forward. I'm here in plain clothes again tonight. That's what we call civilian clothes. And I expect to be going off for medical reasons sometime in the near future. So I wanted to bring Corporal Jamie Waslin along tonight. I know Jamie probably knows just about everybody in town, but I thought I'd at least bring him by to formally introduce him to council. When I'm off, Jamie, who's our operations NCO and oversees the constables, he'll be responsible for everything. So he will be the guy.
Looks like you've got a good succession plan in place.
Thank you. Other news with the staffing front, we hope to soon fill our front counter position. It's a very lengthy process in the government, but we hope to have that completed soon. We have a new victim services employee hired to help victims of crime, navigate the legal process. So that's really good. And if anybody is looking for part-time work, we are looking for guards. So I thought I'd mention that. A few other quick things, two quick things I want to mention. One initiative that Constable Stubbs and Constable Spader are doing is a soccer practice with the school. So every Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're running a program with the kids. And it's going really well. The turnout is like between 20 and 30 kids at these practices. So it's a massive turnout. So I'm very proud of those guys.
Yeah, but might keep those kids out of jail in the future too, you know?
You never know. Yeah. And then the other thing is, I'll just touch on the body worn cameras. It's something I brought up in the past. We're getting used to them and I'm really happy with how they're working out. It seems like they're doing a really great job of capturing what happens on the road. It keeps, an accurate record of everything. And I think it's proven to be very successful in telling an accurate story to the court. So,
Great.
so far, so good. That's it. I just, thanks for having me by. As always, if there's anything you guys need, I'm open for questions or just for talking about community events or priorities or whatever. So we're here for you.
Wonderful presentation, sir, as always. Would you be open to questions from council?
Of course.
Councilors, do you have any questions they'd like to direct towards detachment commander? Boy, oh. Councilor Remark.
Hello, and thank you for the presentation. I guess a big thing in town or outside of town really is a lot of illegal dumping is continually happening, and I mean, well before your time. And I guess my question is more on jurisdiction and like who should I be sending people to when they, find illegal dumping and that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. And we battle with the jurisdictions too. Outside of city limits, I would say the conservation officers. They act as natural resource officers and they take care of a lot of that stuff. That being said, you can always call us. And if we can do something because we're closer, then we can help. But if not, we'll redirect that call. But yeah, we know it's a problem. And I know there's a recent file where they had dealt with something, I believe laid some violation tickets, which was good. But yeah, it creates quite a mess out there that a violation ticket doesn't quite cover. Yeah, but for sure, no, it's a problem, something we're looking at as well. It's tough. We have such a great, big, beautiful area. And it's easy to hide in these places. But yeah, to answer your question, the conservation officers are probably the best bet. But feel free to call us. Yeah, no problem.
Great. Councilor Pickard.
Thank you through the chair. Thanks, Councilor Weimer. That's a great question. And thanks, Greg and Jamie, for coming this evening. And yeah, not so much a question, but just a big thank you for including us and the whole community at the totem pole ceremony. It was really special and everything worked out, and logistics, even with the high school event and the weather and the burgers and all the special guests there, was really, I think, just a really relationship strengthening and amazing collaborative event. So thanks for organizing and including us. And also just go along with what you said about Constable Spade and Subs and their soccer program. It's really awesome. And I've heard from so many moms and kids that before, why don't we have soccer? And then so for you guys to reach out and take the initiative with the staff there, just to offer that for the kids that, maybe the parents can't go to Campbell every day or keep them off the roads. It's a really big opportunity for kids and parents. So yeah, thanks for being great role models and part of the community, and for the hockey in the winter and all you guys do just to go an extra level of just relationship and trust and inspiration for the kids. So I know it's a big deal. My nephew wants to be a police officer now, but I know it's because the relationship and the leadership that you guys bring to the community. So I'm glad to hear you have a full complement, but it's always sad because we know it rotates, but then always the officers we get are amazing too. So thanks for your leadership and taking care of the families to make it a good place for them to work.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, just a note on the totem pole. We're so proud of that. It's a project that's been, about 3 years in the making. So working with Sanford, who's a class act and a super talented artist, was great. The nation was great. And I just think for the RCMP, it was, I was really happy that, my bosses at E Division were supportive of this. Events like this are, I don't want to say challenging to put together, but sometimes they're a little bit tough to, get approvals for. But I think in a place like Nooka Sound where there's so much rich history, and I think this new detachment, it really meant something to myself and to the other members and to the RCP to put a symbol like that to show that we are trying to make those efforts. And I realize it is just a symbol, but it is something where we want to say, hey, this is a welcoming place where everyone is welcome and we're here to be, you know, we're guests here, as you mentioned, we rotate every 4 years. So we come here and we're guests on, you know, in this community in Gold River and in this territory. So yeah, we just thought that would help, you know, bring the community together and let everybody know why we're here.
Thank you. Any other
Thank you.
questions, councilors? I always like to wrap up with an open question because it gives them an opportunity to go different places. Village of Gold River really appreciates our policing services and we value them highly. And we also want to be great supporters of the RCMP within our community. So usually at the end of these meetings, I'd like to provide, an opportunity for council to ask RCMP how the council or community can support RCMP within our community, because it should be a two-way relationship, not just a one-way relationship where you folks are putting it all on the line to keep us safe and well, and your families are sacrificing to make sure that, we're not getting hurt or lose property damage and all the other things that you do. But is there anything that the RCMP locally would benefit from, that council could do or the community could do to support you guys?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I can speak on behalf of the members when I say that this is probably the most supportive RCMP, pro RCMP community you could work in. So I'm very grateful for that. Everybody that comes here kind of shares that same sentiment that it's a pro police community, and we feel comfortable, happy working here. And the moment everybody moves here, we feel like we're at home and feel welcome. So no, I think you guys are extremely supportive. The community is extremely supportive. If I could ask one favor, I would say that, if you see something, say something. I think there's a lot of these, things that we're trying to put together that we
Right.
could use, community input on. I think there's a lot of things that happen in Gold River, and we know what's happening in Gold River, but proving that is very challenging. So, sharing information with the police, and I don't mean in a confidential informant type of way, but I
Mhm.
just mean, being friendly with police, and if there's things going on that, you think we should be addressing, let us know. A lot of times we hear about an event and we're the last ones to know, which is kind of odd, but yeah, I just think that if the community wants to include us a little bit in some of those discussions, then we'd be happy to take part and to be aware of what's going on. So,
Great.
yeah, thank you.
One of the things that I really value, well, the RCMP's new approach to policing is that a community policing model, and it manifests itself in many ways. Like when I see Jamie down there with the kids teaching them hockey, or see your other constables teach them soccer, I just know that relationship that the RCMP is building with the kids there right now, and the attitudes that happen out of that, is going to be very beneficial to a lot of kids as they go through their lives and they deal with different challenges and temptations. So I think it might, keep them on the straight and narrow in a lot of cases. And, that's proactive policing. That's taking care of business before, it happens. Like the best way to deal with problems is never let them happen in the first place, right?
Yeah.
And, if you guys get to that model, which you're working on right now, I think that's a terrific model for policing. I really embrace that. And I really applaud you guys for doing that, because, a lot of times it's you folks out there on your own time, right? Like it's not policing time they're out there. You're out there on your own time doing these things in our community
Mhm.
and being members of our community. And I value that. It's really important to me. And I think to the council and the community, and I think to the image of the RCMP, and the relationship and doing their job in Canada. So anyways, saying all that, I'll let you get on your way because I know you're again on your own time. Well, maybe I won't let you go. Every time I talk, I usually stimulate some other questions here. Councillor Pickard.
Thank you, Mayor Lott. Thanks for your sentiments. Yeah, I think we all echo them. We really value what you guys do in your work time and how you treat everyone and build the relationships, but also in the spare time. And I have heard from one of the other constables that the body cams were going really well and really helping protect the officers and kind of highlight the truth and just make sure the story is straight. So I'm wondering if you offer any to parents for for parenting. I feel like it help the situation. So let me know if you have any spares. I feel like
Yes.
I clear up some fights and drama.
Okay.
So I can never get a straight story. So thank you guys, and thanks for coming in and all your work.
That it, councillors? Again, thank you very much. Carry on with your fine work in our community and our
Thank-
country. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Number 8, administrative reports, seeing none. Moving on, reports from counselors. Counselor Fossin, you're first up, sir.
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Counselor Pickard?
Thank you through the chair. And yeah, first point from the report I already mentioned was the special ceremony that the local RCMP included the community. So thanks again for that. And just another quick note, just wanted to thank our MP Aaron Gunn that came and met with council and mayor, and then also had an evening town hall where residents could come and speak about their questions or challenges or just political ideas and what they thought he should be representing our constituents in our area in Ottawa. So I appreciated everyone coming out to that. And yeah, I know it's kind of a time and some bigger political divide and lots of different kind of polarities and division, but it was really neat that our MP came out here and people didn't have to drive in and could come and sit down and share what they thought we should be represented on. So thanks to him and thanks for the community for being such great guests. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Pickard. Counselor Pringle's not with us this evening. Counselor Waymire?
Thank you. On a couple of Thursdays ago, I got to attend the Cemetery Appreciation Day planning day. And I guess the big part is we're looking for people to actually come out and take part in Cemetery Appreciation Day, which will be held May 23rd at 10 a.m. And there's posters available. Hopefully they're easily accessible. Yes, bring your stories. Yeah, I mean, it's a big day for just getting up there and really appreciating your cemetery. So definitely take that opportunity. I'll skip over the Aaron Gunn. And then another part is I've received a response from the Assistant Deputy Minister, Susan Stanford, regarding our Connected Coast Last Mile funding. And basically, like, I wrote her as a private citizen, and she responded to me that we're basically served, which is not particularly true by any means. I mean, we've got the mask on 120, 60, whatever it is, at the office here, and it takes a entire workday to update a laptop, which is not 50, 10, let alone 120, whatever they're claiming that they're providing us. So it's up to us to really keep on that fight with the citizen services, because, I mean, they can keep telling us this over and over again that we're served, but we are not served, no matter what map they want to pretend says we're served. That's it for me.
Thank you, Counselor Waymire. Had a chance to spend some time with the RCMP, Mahalichin First Nations, through a practical reconciliation event. And you can see the results of that if you just go over to the depot, and you'll see that there's a totem pole that's been erected by the Mahalichin First Nations on that site. And a lot of people thought that would never be possible, because of the relationship that historically the RCMP has had with First Nations in our country. So there was quite a significant historical event for our communities, so, and the region, and I think BC and Canada. So I felt kind of privileged to be able to be part of their pole placement ceremony on May the 5th and their pole awakening on May 13th. And now our community has that totem pole over there, and people were looking for the interpretation on the totem pole. I wasn't too sure what it was, but apparently one of the figures on it is a bear and the other one is a wolf, and the other are 5 faces representing the 5 communities within the Nipissing region that the RCMP police, and the bear and the wolf represent, I think, protectors of the RCMP, the community, and the region. So I think that's the symbolism behind it. But yeah, I feel quite privileged to be a part of that. And then on May 14th, our MP for North Island and Powell River, Aaron Gunn, came into these chambers and met with myself and council members and some of the a member of the business community, and we talked about Gold River and where we are and where we want to be. And part of that conversation was we don't want to just digress or regress into a forgotten community that turns into a retirement community with maybe a few, distant workers and some other people are looking to live inexpensively. We want a revival here. We want to be a industrial community, and we're built as an industrial community. That's our identity, our DNA, our purpose, our function, and we want that. And we want to figure out how we work with our politicians provincially and federally, and the folks that own businesses in town, and industry and investors, and finding a way and where we can get companies to consider Gold River as a viable site to invest and to set up their businesses. And I believe that Gold River exists because of the mill site. That's why we were here. And West Coast Marine Terminals, I believe, is going to be the economic engine that drives Gold River's recovery, renewal, and growth. And I think that in order for that to happen, in our conversations with their manager down there and with MP Aaron Gunn, we realized that the biggest barrier for us right now is power. We may have all desire in the world to develop that site. Here we are, Chris, what are we like, 27 years later now, and we're still talking about this. We haven't got any traction. And yeah, and it's just frustrating me to no end. Just like, why can't this town attract a business, to build something down there, and that will provide jobs and allow our young people and young families to be here, and for our community to grow, and our recreation facilities to be used, and our education facilities to be filled up, and to be a really thriving community again. And the one thing that we need is power. And talking to the minister and talking to the manager, I didn't realize that Vancouver Island doesn't produce very much power for itself. It uses about 1,800 to 2,400 megawatts of energy, hydro. That was a number that was quoted. And then Vancouver Island itself generates about 750 to 1,000. And we get all our other energy to make up that deficit from Columbia River Basin and the Peace River Basin, and we collect it from those generating areas, and it comes across in a subsea cable from, I guess, Powell River area over to Middle Island. And that's it. But they can't guarantee that they can provide the 200 megawatts that the manager down there at the site says he would need to be able to attract companies. And Hydro's position seems to be, well, get a company that is willing to invest down there, and we'll work on trying to get the energy for you. And the companies that come into town, their position is, well, if you don't have the energy or the hydro we need, we're moving on to someplace else. Money has to work. We can't wait 5 to 7 years for you guys to get power down to the site. And we don't know if you're going to get power down to the site. So that seems to be the biggest challenge for us right now. I'm trying to figure out, well, how do we climb this huge mountain, and how do we get untie this Gordian knot? Because if we don't do that, if we don't figure out the power puzzle, we just don't have the element that's necessary for us to attract and develop later heavy industry. So I kind of thought that it was a really good meeting with Aaron, and we talked about some of the other projects, the wind project up in Cape Scott, and the wind project just up north here that's going on at Brewster Lake, or what do they call it? Yayas or something now is a new name for it. But yeah, no, so that's bringing on some power, but again, not enough. And we got to figure out how we can do that. I even had some conversations as we were in the back room there, that were kind of unofficial, with Aaron saying, what about these small modular reactors that they're setting up at Darlington out in Ontario? They're 300 megawatt, like nuclear reactors that are very portable, can set them up there. And they're doing that in Darlington right now in Ontario. And Ontario produces like 51% of its electricity is produced through nuclear reactors. And in British Columbia, 0%. Because we have an act in British Columbia, the Clean Emergency Act or something, or Clean Energy Act or something like that. I can't remember that name, but we got to figure it out. And the that I want to try and crack here, and I'm going to be working on, is I'm going to try and figure out how we get power down to that site. Because if we don't get power down to that site, it's all academic. Nothing's going to happen down there, and we're going to continue on as we're continuing on. And I'm grateful that we can continue on as we're continuing on and maintaining our standard of living, our quality of life. You know, the services that we have, we kind of got there on our own now without depending on, you know, big taxes coming in from the mill site that we used to, you know, we lived on. Now we're self-sufficient, and I like that. So we got time, we bought ourselves time, and we can maintain our standard of living. But I don't think this is where most Gold Riverites want us to be. I think most Gold Riverites still want to see that program of, you know, renewal and growth. And we need the power in order to do that. So anyways, so the meeting had value to me. I still, you know, it's kind of like starting off and, you know, taking the first baby steps, but I got to figure out some way in which we can get all these parties together and figure out a plan for Gold River and figure out how we get power to that site. Because if we don't, 27 years from now, people will still be talking about wanting to become an industrial community. So anyways, that's pretty well for me. But yeah, that's, I think, needs to be the next focus for us, power for that mill site, so that we can attract industry and rebuild our community in the way it was in the glory days. So that's it for me, and moving on to the next item. Number 10, information items, work in progress. Motion is that council receive the work in progress for information. Who care to move it? Councilor Wheeler, second by Councilor Fossin. Any discussion? Any update on our stop sign question?
No,
Roy?
we are still waiting to hear back from the MMF then.
Okay. Other than that, I think that was the only thing I seen. I had a question about. Councilors, do you have any other questions? Any other discussion? Nope. Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Accepted. Done. Gold River Open Book. Yeah, so we're gonna have a demo of our Open Book program. And for those folks that don't know what the Open Book program is, it's a program that provides financial clarity and openness and accountability. Yeah, any citizen or any person can go on to Open Book on our webpage, and they can see real-time information on our budget and our finances. And you think, well, so what? Isn't that how it's supposed to work? Aren't we supposed to be able to access municipal finances at any time and see exactly where we are? And the answer is, yeah. But can you realistically? No. You look around most communities, there is no portals or access to get into the budget to see exactly where you are in real time in terms of all your revenues and expenditures. So we do have Open Book, and we incorporated that as part of our financial responsibility program and under the subdivision of accountability, so that any member of the community can go into Open Book and see exactly where we are in any single account, and can see and ask questions to council about our financial status. And I think that helps us with that thing that we've been trying to achieve, being financially responsible, having a balanced budget, and being good stewards of the public purse. And yeah, so I'll pass it over to our CAO, Administrator Roy, who is also our Chief Financial Officer, and he knows more about this program than me because he's the one that suggested we go this direction when I was asking him, well, how do we make sure that this isn't just rhetoric, that we're, you know, there's something practical out there, that accountability means more than just lip service. There's something there that's practical, and this is what we came up with, and I like it. A lot of politicians and bureaucrats I talk to in my business, they don't like it, but I like it.
Thanks, Your Worship. So to access our Open Book is on our front page of our website. Go right here, Gold River Open Book. It'll bring us to the site. On the site, we do have our financial information in there. We have budget information. We also have some other statistical information on there. We've got property assessment on there. We've got the average home value, municipal tax rates. So I'll just quickly take a look at this one. When you go into it, there's different tabs up here to show the information. You can look at it in a bar graph in this format, percentage based. It does show a summary with all the actual numbers and even historical. So, and if you scroll down, you can see there's the history of the property assessment for business since 2020, light industry. Managed forest doesn't show much because it's our first year. It's just sold single dot way over here. So as you can see that we're able to present some of the statistical information for anybody who is interested. On the financial side, we've got our actuals are split between expenses and revenues. So there's revenues are right here. Under expenses, if we go into it, as you can see, it now shows it based on department. You can click into it to drill in. So it goes into the recreation center, then it goes into further in. Again, just like I was showing with the assessment, you can look at it in percentage format. It'll again click in and out as you want. It does show the summary and does show the history. You can pick other years. We have several years of data included in here. You just select the year you want and hit apply. Under the expenses and here, we do show it in two different formats. That one was by department. You can also do it by expense category. Back to the amount. And there it breaks down by labor, supplies, materials, taxes, other jurisdictions, contracted services. The blue bar in here is the budget. The red is the actual, and that's year to date as of the last update that would have been done. This updates either once or twice a month. It refreshes the data. Again, you can click in and labor now breaks it down by the general divisions, go further in. Aquatic Center Arena, this is just the recreation one. So that's what we get there. Again, so there's a lot of different information you can that's available in there. That are ways to view the information, chart numbers, percentage, and then of course the history. Of course, the current year drops off quite a bit because on the actual because we're only partway through the year. But again, it shows our comparison over the years. So that's just a quick little summary of that. The municipal average home value is shown in here. So this is off of BC Assessments information, just shows the trend that's happened. So the average strata is what they've done over the past 6 years. You got the same with average home value, and we've got the single family value. Like I said, in the revenue side, same thing. It's look at it by department or by revenue category. And again, it's the same number of years. This hasn't updated since the taxes were done the other last week, but so it will compare to budget to actual. Not much else to show. It's just a bunch of click around as you want. There's a lot of ways to look at the information, and it is presented here, both graphically and numerically. So
Does this also include project budgets, Mr. Roy?
oh yes, it there we are, right there. There's the projects in this year. There's a little bit of actuals been spent. Again, same set of stuff up there. We'll go back a year just to show a bit more data. There. So last year, like shows all the capital items that we had in there. So it has operating and projects. Any questions?
How about we just do the motion first and then we can have discussion. Would that work for you, Administrator?
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Motion is that the Gold River Open Book Report be accepted for information. Do you care to move it? Councilor Rimar, second by Councilor Pickard. Any questions that you have on the presentation, councilors? Councilor Waymire.
Of through the chair of very cool. I'm sure I will get lost in there a little bit. It's a little tongue in cheek, but if I were to be on here, I'm not going to break anything in the village.
No, this is view only. All the information is extracted from our financial system into our budget system. Then from there, it's uploaded into the open books.
Terrific. Councilors, any other
It
councilors?
basically just allows a view into our finances.
Yeah, you can view, but you can't make any inputs. Good. No other questions? Terrific. Call for the question. All in favor, receive report. Carried. 10.3, 2026 UBCM. The motion is that the 2026 UBCM report be accepted for information. Who care to move it? Councillor Fossin, second by Councillor Pickard. Any discussion? Seeing none, call for the, it always trips me up. Councillor Waymire.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is a great little report and just a very good reminder for us to be really considering what minister meetings we want to have, ideally for discussion in June, because these, requests for meetings are due at the end of June. So over the next two meetings, we're going to have those. So I guess I put it in council's court to come back with a list of who you want to talk to, because I've got a list here, the Minister of Transportation and Transit. I'm sure we've got talk with housing regarding incentives for rural development. Forests is a classic we like to talk to. And yeah, even the Minister of State for local government and rural communities, because we're, a rural community and we're kind of being forgotten. It seems like a lot of the times there's just inequities with where grants are going. And, even if you say, the fiber is, it's a inequity that we are facing of, and, the administrative burden of, the province, continually adding to our plates, but not necessarily giving our staff any additional time or any additional staff. So, there's a lot of things that we can be talking about. So, I guess that's my point here.
Thank you, Councillor Waymire. Councillor Pickard.
Thank you to the chair and thanks, Councillor Waymire. Awesome points. And I think it's good. Yeah, we really think hard because it'll come quick, due by the end of June. So we really have to be strategic here and make sure we hit as many ministers as we can with our rural issues and where we're being kind of carved out of decisions or put added extra pressure on. And then I see the BC Hydro is June 30th. So Mayor Law, just kind of going off your discussion from the meeting with our MP and the meetings we had about, just that BC Hydro won't build it if anyone doesn't commit, but nobody wants to commit because it's really bad business sense to wait 6 or 7 years. So I wonder if there's any way we can make a strong argument or have a document or something to go into the BC Hydro meeting and just saying like this is the opportunity, but it's holding back investors because they won't build unless there's a commitment. If we could have that maybe with the property, I don't know, some kind of like case or MOU or something to kind of just strengthen the meeting that we're really depending on development at that site if there's power.
Agreed. So important.
know.
I've taken the initiative to reach out to the administrator when he's got the memo from the BC Hydro, ask him to set up a meeting with BC Hydro on the Village of Gold River. So that's critical to me. It's one of the steps along this path, this journey that we're going to take to finding a solution to getting power down to that site again. And we're a small municipal government, right? But and I think that the leaders on this are going to be the private sector, the owners of the property and businesses that want to get established down there. But we want to be a voice to advocating for that and championing that because we know that we're going to be beneficiaries of that happening. So yeah, I agree.
Thank you. And it's a good point too. If you have a chance to do a meeting outside of UBCM, it's probably impactful and they'll remember more because the UBCM, as you guys say, is packed and speed dating and all the municipalities and villages and towns coming with all their requests and asks, so I agree too. If there's a chance for a different meeting outside of it, let's do that also.
I agree. I think the evolution we getting past the exploratory meetings like we have right now, which is kind of like just the, exchange and like concepts and getting to actual working meetings with BC Hydro and industry and government. Because, yeah, it's got to happen, because if it doesn't happen, like I said, we might as well just get some money for a big fence to go around Gold River and a gate, and we'll call it a gated community for seniors and call it a day and move on. And shut down that site down there. Don't worry about being an industrial community anymore. Yeah. Anything else, Councillor Fawcett?
Thank you through the chair, and thank you to my both counselors sitting here as well. Yeah, I do think, well, I think we all know the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Agreed.
So I do agree with everyone, and I do really think we need to hit BC Hydro hard and the provincial government hard. So any activity, any way we can hit them hard, squeaking a lot would probably really help. As well as aligning ourselves with other communities that would be beneficial as well, i.e. Campbell River, really wanting to have their natural gas power plant project that they were looking at that Aaron Gunn was speaking about. So
Yeah.
I think I had a small discussion with Mayor Kermit Dahl
Great.
this week. And yeah, he said the same thing. The more of us that can get together and pressure BC Hydro would be very beneficial. So
Yeah, we have
I
a
think that's
gas,
a big thing that we in Gold River need to do.
currently have a gas powered generating station out in Campbell River that generates 275 megawatts. They use it as backup power, but because it's been driven by natural gas, which creates greenhouse gases, and the BC Hydro isn't renewing their purchase agreement with them. We'll take that power. Any other discussion? I, like Councillor Waymire, have my list too. I'm kind of going through it and trying to identify what priorities are. And I'm shortlisting it. The top of my list is Adrian Dix, the Minister of Energy. Gentleman I want to talk to about what he envisions for how he envisions energizing Gold River and getting us the power we need in order to redevelop ourselves as a light heavy industrial community. And if they're on board with that or not, because I need to know whether the government's going to be part of the problem or part of the solution. So, yeah, he's on top of my list. Any other discussion? All for the question, all in favor? Good. I don't even know what we're talking about there for a while. Thought we were at the UBCM, weren't we? Reports of committee, seeing none, moving on. Bylaws, seeing none, moving on. Correspondence. The motion is council receive the correspondence for information. Move it, Councillor Fawcett, second by Councillor Waymire. Any discussion? Councillor Pickard?
Thank you through the chair. I thought this was just a great letter and really kind of echoes some stuff we've talked about this evening, but just
Waymire was talking about downloading on us.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, just really, that's awesome that the village of Tassis originally, or Zabala, sorry, originally brought this forward. And a lot of it resonated really true that applying PSD to required professional services represents an internal cost shift within the public sector that constrains the ability of local governments to effectively deliver provincially mandated and essential community services. Professional services are crucial for municipal infrastructure, delivery, regulatory compliance, and long-term capital planning. And then to mandate them and need them, and then to put PST on them, I think, is a really good point that requesting the minister that local government be exempt from the application of PST on professional and related services is a great way for us to kind of be able to do all these mandated compliance, regulatory compliance and planning reports. So I don't know if we could do a motion if they would want a support letter or to add a name onto their letter or just.
In the correspondence that I read, that's on our agenda, they just, they're not asking anything other than receive it. There's no action item under there that I can see. Am I correct, Roy?
That's correct. They're just sharing the information with all the municipalities in BC.
So we're just receiving it for information. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Councillor Pickard? Okay,
Great, thank you.
thank you. Anyone else? Any other discussion on receipts? No, seeing none, call for the question, all in favor? We're done. New business item that we have here that I introduced under late items is just to get some discussion here. I'd like to make the motion that the off-season days and hours of operations for the Anfic Aquatic Sports Center be expanded to include Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon for all the sports side facilities and the poolside shower and washrooms, excluding all our statutory holidays. So care to move it. Councillor Boston, second. Anybody want a second? Councillor Waymire, any discussion? Tell you what I'm thinking is that let's look at synergies. Right now, we've changed the service model down at the campground. We want to take advantage of everything that we can possibly do in order to enhance our service down there. We don't have hot showers. We don't have hot water down there for sinks. But I tell you what, if I'm down there and I'm getting pretty ripe because I've been in the campground for a while, to know that I can pop up to the aquatic center Monday through Friday, 9 to 12, and that there's going to be staffing there already because that's where we're going to be receiving bookings, that will be an enhanced visitor experience without a lot of cost to the Village of Gold River. And that's what I'm kind of looking for synergies, getting more for less, because that's the way we're gonna do business. That's basically our motto, not less for less. And I think that realizes that. Plus the other thing is that we value health and wellness in our community. We're a community that, pretty healthy community. I was saying to our Gold River, I said I won't embarrass her by pointing out who she is. Okay. But I'm saying, well, look at how healthy our citizens are. And that's great. And attribute that to all the recreation facilities that these folks built in our community over the years, aquatic centers, curling rinks, pools, community centers, golf courses, hiking trails. Yeah, look at it. When I came to Gold River, it was just thing that blew me away was look at how active this community is. Look at how much they value health and wellness. And yeah, we still got it. So, if we can add the Tuesday, like right now we got Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if we can add Tuesday and Thursday, somebody's down there already. Why not? It just gives us more value for money that we're spending down there. So that was my rationale for putting it in there. And any other discussion? Councillor Raymer?
Yeah, love the idea. I guess I just want to double check that it is feasible to do that because I know we do have the staff down there. But I guess the question through the chair to the CIO, is this something that is going to be easily achievable with the staff we do currently have down there?
Yeah, Roy?
Thank you, Your Worship. We do, this is possible, but with the caveat that there may be times that it won't be available due to staffing being short. We only have one staff member in the off season in that location. So if they're sick or they're on holidays, we won't have anybody there.
Follow-up question? Councillor Raymer?
Yeah, follow-up question on that. We're currently doing that Monday, Wednesday, Friday anyway. So is that sort of what would happen regardless during the summer if that individual was sick?
Quite possibly. Sometimes our director of operations, if he's working in the office, would relocate over there to do it. The downside with this being Monday to Friday, though, would chain him to that location and not be able to do his other duties.
Just on that theme, not only does Director of Operations good backup, but I've noticed that last year what we had is we had our maintenance staff that are on duty down there also step up. Kyle stepped up and he also covered when Dorothy was not available. But I think it's doable. Councillor Pickard.
Thank you, and thanks for bringing this motion up and for the idea, Mayor Lott. I think it's a great thing that we can offer residents for a bit more physical activity and social in the summer before it gets too hot in the afternoons, and also a great kind of a service to offer campers. I know we've had our last operator there come and ask about the showers being open. So a couple extra days, even though it's not the weekend, it still provides an opportunity for showers and running water and plumbing is a highlight if you're getting ripe out there too, and working out. And I think we have that same risk because now that we've set up the camping fees getting taken at the aquatic center there, if that one staff is sick or on vacation, also they won't be taking the camping fees, or we'll have the director of operations come over.
One of the initiatives that the administrator proposed is that we would have the person that's going down to the site to work at the site also have a debit machine that where they could take the bookings and the fees. There'd be no cash transactions because of the concern with inappropriate, I don't even know how to put it without, but you know, there's no question that whatsoever that there's no missing funds because it's only going to be done through debit, and the employee that's down there working there will have a debit machine and people can book and pay on debit if they can't get to the aquatic center. Is that correct, Mr. River?
Basically, your worship, although we don't have somebody dedicated going down there, what we do have is somebody going in the evenings and first thing in the morning to catch anybody who may have shown up afterwards. And so they go around, they'll check all the sites and make sure that they're all paid up. So probably most of the transaction will be captured that way.
Do you have follow-up questions?
Yeah, thanks for clearing it up, and Mayor Law and Administrator Roy. And I think it's a great idea and worth a try. Like when we first were proposed the idea of having the rec center open in the summer, it was a petition from residents that came in and said they really valued that time to work out. So we tried it out and had a few reports, I think after 2 years, and the numbers look great and residents appreciated it, and it didn't put too much extra pressure on our municipal staff. So let's try it out Monday to Friday and have the showers in the gym, and we'll get a report in the end and see if it was utilized and worth it. And I think we can always reassess, but I think it's a great initiative.
Yeah, my discussions with CIO Roy, as he said, that we will be revisiting this again in the fall when we do our budgeting. So every single year we'll be revisiting it, and we'll be assessing what's working, what isn't, and tweaking it accordingly to make it a better visitor experience for our guests. So yeah, I'm comfortable with to trial it, and if it works, fine, great. If it doesn't, then we'll find something better. Any other discussion? Well, seeing no, nearly. Councilor Raymar.
Yeah, just in the back of my mind right now, I'm thinking like we get a report for everything. Is
Mhm.
this the sort of thing that would benefit from us getting a report? And is a report, I mean, A, necessary, and B, I mean, worth the time to make the report? And I mean, I'm hearing some hesitation from staff. I think it is very doable, but I also don't want to just lay this straight on staff. I'd like to have their input before I totally agree to this. I'm also trying to consider the dates. So this is our last meeting in May. We could report in June. Yeah. Yeah. I think the timing of it is, I mean, not ideal, but I think it's not something too cumbersome that we do need a report. I'm sure we recognize the risks that go along with this. I'd definitely prefer not to pay the head of operations to run the showers when he could be in his office, but I think that is going to be, you know, not the typical case. So yeah, I think I support this without a report, but yeah.
Thank you, Councilor Raymar. I've reflected on it like you have, and I dwelled on it, and I've seen that there could be some, there could be some challenges there. However, I believe that they're manageable with the staff that we have down there and with the way that we got it structured. And I have no reservations whatsoever of putting this into practice immediately. So you express a valid concern, and if council wishes to defeat this motion, then we can consider another motion. But I'm fully confident that the resources that we have down there, we're capable of managing a couple extra days. And the problems that we're talking about are inherent in running it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's no different. So I don't need it. I don't think I need any more information to make an informed decision on this one. So call for the question on the motion that's on the floor. All in favor? Carried. Question period. Oh, I love this part because you guys don't really want to ask us questions, do you? Question period. Gallery, if you wish to address any questions to council pertaining to the items that are on the agenda this evening, we welcome you to come up to the chair, identify who you are, where you live, and ask us whatever question you'd like to ask us pertaining to items that are onto the tonight's agenda. Seeing none, move on to online. Mr. Roy, any online?
None, your worship.
Anything on for question period? Notes of motion, seeing none. Motion to adjourn in camera, not necessary. Rise and report. We're not rising and report anything. The adjournment to move that the meeting be adjourned. Who'd care to move it? Counselor Waymire, second by Counselor Pickard. Any discussion? I'm glad we never have any discussion on adjournment. I'd lose it.